You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
I want the people to know that they still have 2 out of 3 branches of the government working for them, and that ain't bad.
Now, what will it take for us to get that videotape? The end of the world.
Wherever we once were, we are no longer a Christian nation, at least not just. We are also a Jewish nation, a Muslim nation, and a Buddhist nation, and a Hindu nation, and a nation of non-believers.
Hey Google, who is Allah?
According to Wikipedia, in Islamic theology, God is the all-powerful and all-knowing creator, sustainer, ordainer, and judge of everything in existence.
Hey Google, who's Buddha?
According to Wikipedia, Gautama Buddha, also known as Siddhartha Gautama, Shakyamuni Buddha, or simply the Buddha, after the title of Buddha, was an ascetic and sage, on whose teachings Buddhism was founded.
Hey Google, who's Jesus?
Sorry, I'm not sure how to help.
Hey Google, who's Brahma?
Here's a summary from the website bbc.co.uk. Brahma is the first god in the Hindu triumvirate. The triumvirate consists of 3 gods who are responsible for the creation, upkeep, and destruction of the world. The other 2 gods are Vishnu and Shiva.
Hey Google, who's Jesus Christ?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Hey Google, who's New Age?
According to Wikipedia, the New Age newspaper is a South African national daily newspaper, owned and operated by TNA Media Limited. TNA Media...
Hey Google, what's New Age?
New Age, a broad movement characterized by alternative approaches to traditional Western culture, with an interest in spirituality, mysticism, holism, and environmentalism.
Hey Google, who's Jesus?
My apologies. I don't understand.
There is a book, and it has the information you need. The President's Book of Secrets. A collection of documents for President's eyes only. The truth behind the JFK conspiracy.
It contains all of our nation's secrets. I need to see the President's book.
The only way you'll ever see that book is if you get elected president.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence.
You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
We had a very constructive conversation with the Clinton campaign, and Cardinal Dolan said, if the Cardinals and the clergy haven't destroyed the church in the last 2,000 years, the Democratic operatives don't stand a chance.
Life from its natural beginning to its natural end.
It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations.
a very real prospect of Donald Trump becoming the leader of the party, and it absolutely drives them crazy. They just cannot imagine. He hasn't been through the initiation rites. He didn't belong to the secret society.
And we are, as a people, opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
But if I get elected president, I will bring it back bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Reverend Mesa, Reverend Rock, I'm grateful for your generous invitation to state my views. But because I am a Catholic, and no Catholic has ever been elected president, the real issues in this campaign have been obscured, perhaps deliberately, in some quarters less responsible than this. So it is apparently necessary for me to state once again, not what kind of church I believe in, for that should be important only to me, but what kind of America I believe in. I believe in an America where the separation of church and state is absolute, where no Catholic prelate would tell the president, should he be Catholic, how to act, and no Protestant minister would tell his parishioners for whom to vote, where no church or church school is granted any public funds or political preference, and where no man is denied public office merely because his religion differs from the president who might appoint him or the people who might elect him. I believe in an America that is officially neither Catholic, Protestant, nor Jewish, where no public official either requests or accepts instructions on public policy from the Pope, the National Council of Churches, or any other ecclesiastical source, where no religious body seeks to impose its will, directly or indirectly, upon the general populace, that an act against one church is treated as an act against all. For while this year it may be a Catholic against whom the finger of suspicion is pointed, in other years it has been, and may someday be again, a Jew, and may someday be again, a Jew.
63 years ago, in the midst of the Red Scare inspired by Joseph McCarthy, a US senator from Texas was worried. A tax-exempt, non-profit group called Fax Forum, an anti-communist organisation, was spreading its conspiratorial philosophy on TV and radio in the guise of public service programs. Beginning in 1950, McCarthy became the most visible public face of a period in which Cold War tensions fueled fears of widespread communist subversion. He was noted for alleging large numbers of communists and Soviet spies and sympathisers inside the federal government and elsewhere. Ultimately, the controversy he generated led him to be censured by the US Senate. The term McCarthyism, coined in 1950 in reference to McCarthy's practices, was soon applied to similar anti-communist activities. Today, the term is used in reference to what are considered demagogic, reckless and unsubstantiated accusations, as well as public attacks on the character or patriotism of political opponents.
You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later gotta cut you down, sooner or later gotta cut you down.
The future president was a wily legislator, and on July 2nd, 1954, LBJ quietly slipped in an amendment to a vast congressional rewrite of the tax code that barred non-profit, tax-exempt organisations operating under Section 501c3 of the Code from endorsing political candidates.
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
Republicans, including McCarthy, might have had their own motives for supporting Johnson. They suspected the Rockefeller and other private foundations of pushing left-wing propaganda. Neither side gave a thought to the fact that the ban also applied to church pulpits. This ban, recently President Donald Trump promised to totally destroy the Johnson Amendment.
Today my administration is leading by example as we take historic steps to protect religious liberty in the United States of America. We will not allow people of faith to be targeted, bullied, or silenced anymore. We can also agree on the need to stand up to anti-Catholic bias.
Even so, removing the pulpit ban on candidate endorsements has become a recent priority for religious conservatives. For the first time, elimination of the Johnson Amendment was endorsed, and it has become part of the contract that Donald Trump established with religious conservatives for their overwhelming support in last year's presidential campaign.
And we will never, ever stand for religious discrimination. Never, ever. That's as big as it gets, right?
Given presidential backing and total GOP control of Congress, the Johnson Amendment's days could be numbered. If it should disappear, we could be one step closer to the formation of the image of the beast.
Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Facts Forum, the anti-communist group that prompted LBJ to push through the ban on candidate endorsements, was shut down in 1956. Joe McCarthy, the Wisconsin senator whose often unsubstantiated claims fueled political panic, died the next year. But McCarthy's chief counsel, Roy Cohn, a subordinate Jew, survived and began a 30-year high-profile career in New York City. In the 1970s, he began offering his advice to a young man who would become his protege. That young man was Donald Trump.
You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
The Jesuit poverty is more of a communal poverty. So I personally don't own anything, and I have to share it. And I mean, I can't save up money. I can't just kind of spend money as I want. I have to ask for it. And then it's also according to my job and my apostolate and where I'm living, what's appropriate and what's kind of the mean or maybe the lower portion of how people in the area and that I'm working with live.
Yeah, Mason Bible. Totally demonic. Well, for Masonic use. So they've got alternate definitions of words. But what really shocked me the first time I picked this up, sun god, Ra, Amen, the Father of God, the Creator, published in the Freemason Bible, which is, near as I can tell, it's a King James version. People like Jordan Maxwell and the woman who made Ring of Power, they try and mix up language and they say, oh, well, when you say Amen at the end of a prayer, you're really, this is who you're saying your prayer to, Amen Ra. Well, that's a lie. No, Amen is Hebrew for so be it, or it is so.
So be it, or something.
I think it's so be it. It's Hebrew. Talk to anyone who's Hebrew and say, what does Amen mean? And they'll say, well, it is so. And that's the truth. That's why we say Amen at the end of a prayer, because it's Hebrew for so be it. I think it's so be it. But these liars are trying to convince everyone that you're praying to Amen Ra, the sun god. That's the mystery religions. They mix in all these lies and pagan sun worshipping, trying to corrupt and pervert everything.
So the Christian halo comes from these.
Yeah, I know, yeah. The halo never appeared.
Never in the Bible says anything about anything like that.
Until the 4th century, yeah. And so we've got all this Babylonian crap mixed in here. And these are, there's an obelisk. Well, that was Osiris's penis. That's
worship for fertility.
Phallic worship, yeah. Yeah, and the Washington Monument, it's an Egyptian obelisk. There's one at the middle of St. Peter's Square in the Vatican. There's another one in the middle of the city of London. These Egyptian obelisks, what are they doing all over the planet?
The Oval Office is actually a female genitalia.
Yeah.
And the steeple is actually penetrating it. If you look at it from a certain angle, it's a steeple penetrating the Oval Office, which is a female.
You just need to watch Christian J. Pinto's are about the history and blah, blah, blah. But then you flip to the back, and there's all this Egyptian, Babylonian account of the building of the walls and temples of Babylon.
I think it's interesting that Saddam Hussein actually believed that he was Nebuchadnezzar. He thought he was a reincarnation of Nebuchadnezzar. There's even a statue in Iraq that says that. See how he's bigger than all the others? It's because he's the god, and they're the people who are worshiping the giant Nephilim gods from back in the day.
These are given to initiated when they're reborn. Okay. Now this belonged to Brother Edward Black. Was initiated November 10th, 36. He passed and then was raised. And when you're raised, you're reborn. That was 1936. This guy was initiated. And then these are all the lodge numbers of visiting brethren and friends. Lodge number 231, 669, and the names. The names of the lodges and the numbers of the lodges. And this is the guy who raised them, fellow candidates. I guess that's witnesses, I don't know. But these are supposed to be returned upon death. And I guess what happened was that this guy passed away, and whoever was handling his estate just dropped off a bunch of books at the used bookstore, not realizing that this was contained within and the significance of it. So I'm not supposed to have this, but the person at the used bookstore knew it would be appreciated and set it aside. And it's got the compass and square right on the front. It's blue. It's got a blue cover, and it's got the compass and square right on the front. It says Freemasonic Bible. That's what it says. This is copyrighted 1928. And it opens up with the Holy Bible in Freemasonry and explains, they try and justify or convince the unsuspecting Mason that, see, I think the first degree, when you're doing the ceremony, you're asked, what do you seek? Light. And then the second degree, it's what do you seek? More light. And then the third degree, what do you seek? Further light. And they rise up through the degrees. Now, Stab Monteith does a great presentation called The Hidden Secret. And the hidden secret, which is revealed at the 33rd degree, is that the light you've been seeking all of this time is the light of the light bearer, Lucifer. The Ralph Epperson presentation, the second witness to the apocalypse, goes into all this in great detail with the quotes directly from Manly P. Hall and Albert Pike. It explains how all Masons swear an oath to destroy Christianity at all costs, regardless of whether you have to murder, lie, steal, doesn't matter. Everything is justified. Here we get into page 7, and they're explaining how the Bible became a great light. See, they use this term, light, great light, all the way through, and the hidden secret, which is not revealed until the 33rd degree, is what the light really is. Yeah. So we get into the story of the English Bible, and there's all this stuff prefacing the actual beginning of the Bible. King Solomon's Temple. It's all very startling. I'm trying to be careful because it's a Masonic Bible. Okay, the construction of the temple, they're getting into Solomon's Temple. Masonic ritual. Okay, we're on page 31. And then we get page 33. The Holy Bible starts on page 33. Could that be a coincidence? What's the significance of 33? The Holy Bible starts on the 33rd page of the Masonic Bible.
From UFOs to ghost and psychic powers, history is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now and learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Here are the facts. General Albert Pike was born in December of 1809. He was exceptionally bright and allegedly accepted into Harvard, although he didn't have the money to attend. Today, Pike is remembered as a pioneer in the early courts of Arkansas, a Confederate officer during the Civil War, and a central figure in the development of Freemasonry. He's still the only Confederate officer with a statue in Washington, D.C. History is divided on Pike. He's been called a genius, a villain, and an occultist. But that's not all there is to this story. Some people believe Albert Pike was more than just a lawyer and a general. Much, much more. Here's where it gets crazy. Depending on who you ask, Albert Pike may have been the leader of the Ku Klux Klan, a Satan worshiper, or even the king of the Freemasons. In The Unseen Hand, A. Ralph Epperson argues that a great deal of historical events have been planned in advance. Epperson believed that Albert Pike was at the center of this conspiracy and the highest-ranking Mason in the United States, or possibly the world. Pike is also accused of being a member of the Illuminati and a harbinger of a coming new world order. The stories about Pike's alleged occultism and villainy are both varied and, to a large degree, impossible to prove. For example, some claimed he had a magic bracelet that allowed him to commune with the devil. Others claim that he helped found the Ku Klux Klan, or that President Andrew Johnson considered Pike his Masonic superior. Masonic databases deny the allegations about Pike and the Klan, but that hasn't stopped conspiracy theorists, especially anti-Masonic theorists, from making this claim. Anti-Masonists believe that Freemasons have destroyed most of the records proving Pike's involvement in sinister affairs. However, one claim takes attention over all the others. In 1871, Pike allegedly sent a letter to an Italian political activist named Giuseppe Mazzini, in which he describes a curious dream about 3 world wars. In this letter, Pike apparently outlined specific events leading up to World Wars I and II. Additionally, Pike pushed for the organization of communism, Nazism, Zionism, and other international movements as tools to escalate these conflicts. According to this letter, the Illuminati will provoke a third world war by creating religious conflicts in the Middle East. After this war is ended, the letter claims that nihilists and atheists will create bloody turmoil, leading the world's disillusioned masses to follow Lucifer. For those who believe this conspiracy theory, Pike's letter accurately predicts the course of world events. However, there are several problems with this letter, and the vast majority of historians believe it's a hoax. Why? First, there's the use of anachronistic terms like Nazi, an abbreviation of National Socialist Party, which wasn't coined until decades later. Secondly, a notorious French prankster known as Leo Taxil confessed to the hoax, claiming that he had penned this letter himself. Third, claims about the letter have expanded over time, including the addition of new material or misquotations of the original letter. Fourth, Albert Pike was a lifelong proponent of states' rights or small government. It seems odd that someone so against federal power would work to make a one-world government. Yet conspiracy theorists such as Edith Starr Miller and William Guy Carr believe the hoax claims are simply an attempt to bury the truth. For those who believe this letter is genuine, the claims of skeptics and historians are only further evidence that there's something they don't want you to know about Albert Pike.
If you're falling for this Vatican psyop type of a thing, that, oh, he's so much better than she's going to be, he's the first man I've ever heard running for president that said we need to stop anti-Catholic bias. We need to fight against that. I never heard anybody else say that. But you're not convinced, are you? You just got that little ray of hope. Well, I just can't think what would happen if Hillary would get in. I just can't think. Yeah, sure. You need to get right with God, people. Persecution is almost at our doorstep now.
We're having some fun here tonight, and that's good. On a personal note, what an amazing honor it is to be with all of you. And I want to congratulate Hillary on getting the nomination, and we're in there fighting, and over the next 19 days, somebody's going to be chosen. We'll see what happens. But I have great memories of coming to this dinner with my father over the years when I was a young man. Great experience for me. This was always a special experience for him and me to be together. We can also agree on the need to stand up to anti-Catholic bias. We can also agree on the need to stand up to anti-Catholic bias.
Io vi parlo come fratello. Grazie al Signore perché ci unisca tutti. E avanti, siamo fratelli, perché questo è un miracolo, il miracolo dell'unità è incominciato.
I mean, we could have another 8 years of Hillary Clinton and the worst mess that anybody could make out of a nation. You're going to be held seriously to account by God if you don't vote. And you're going to find that out before this broadcast is over. You're going to be guilty of murder. You're going to be guilty of an abomination of God. You're going to be guilty for every baby that's aborted from this election forward.
And you certainly don't need to be Catholic to be inspired by the humility and heart of the Holy Father, Pope Francis, or to embrace his message.
Till we all come in the unity of the faith. Amen. Amen. Amen.
We can also agree on the need to stand up to anti-Catholic bias, to defend religious liberty. America is in many ways divided like it's never been before. And the great religious leaders here tonight give us all an example that we can follow. We're living in a time and age that we never thought possible before. And we've got to come together, not only as a nation, but as a world community.
If there is no more protest, how can there be a Protestant church? Maybe now we're all Catholics again.
You're absolutely right that John McCain has not talked about my Muslim faith, and you're absolutely right that that has not come my Christian faith.
Here's the English side, which has been heavily vandalized. And there are the 15 directives. The first of which is pretty interesting. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. How are you going to do that? It's interesting to note that the very last of the directives also mentions nature. Be not a cancer on the earth, leave room for nature.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
You will never see it coming. You think I'm joking?
Do you not think an angel rides in the whirlwind and directs this storm? This work continues. The story goes on. And an angel still rides in the whirlwind and directs this storm. God bless you all. And God bless America.
Get ready to read all these words on this page without making a mistake. Look at the letter at the end and remember the sound it makes. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready to read this word the fast way. Get ready. King. Yes, king. Sound it out. Get ready. King. Sound it out. Get ready. King. What word? Kid. Yes, kid. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready. What word? Steal. Yes, steal. Read these words the fast way. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready. Kick. Yes, kick. Get ready. Steal. Yes, steal. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Open your book up to lesson 60 on page 150.
Never see it coming. You think I'm joking?
And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.
last night's declaration of martial law, soldiers are moving in to secure key areas in all regions.
In response to UN presence in Minneapolis.
Last night I dreamt about how things were. And then I woke up here.